Welcome to the Referrals Podcast, the show designed to help everyone from the solopreneur to the Fortune 500 company win the referral game. If you want to build a company with an army of ambassadors and raving fans who speak highly of you and refer you willingly, you are in the right place. And now, here is your host, Michael J Maher.
Welcome, everyone, back to another amazing episode of Referrals Podcast. Thank you so much for listening in today. Today we have a special edition of Referrals Podcast. It is a taste of referral mastery. Today it is a bite-sized snippet where you can listen to it on a walk, you can listen to it on your drive, you can listen to it later on at night, you can listen to it anytime. Literally, you can listen to this, and I hope you listen to today's, because today we're talking about best referral ever, and we're talking about how did you get your last referral with one of my favorite guests of Referrals Podcast. Today we have a very special guest, and I can't wait to introduce him to you, but I'm going to make you wait. I'm sorry, I know. I got to give a quick shout out to Mitch Noon, who is a financial advisor. He's a wealth advisor, and he said Event Mastery Class was a great step-by-step program to implement a successful event. As someone who needs structure to feel confident, it gave me that. Even though I am not in real estate, the strategies can be applied to my industry. Thank you, Michael J Maher. And that's true of any industry. You can apply what you get from Referrals Podcast and Event Mastery Class and 7L to any industry, and today's guest is a great example of that. If you're interested in Event Mastery Class, you can go to eventmasteryclass.com. I will personally help you for 7 weeks plan and execute and get referrals from your next event. That's what I do. Now, we want you to sign up for rms21.com. We want you to sign up for Referral Mastery Summit. We want you to know that you can now attend from the convenience of your living room, office, or wherever you have a laptop or phone, because we have gone virtual with RMS 21. That's right. Anybody can go. It's 1 to 5. It's very compact, 30 plus breakouts going on from 1 to 5 p.m., 3 straight days, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, September 29th, 30th, and October 1st. Here's the deal. You need to have a plan. You need to have, one of the reasons a lot of people are feeling overwhelmed right now is because they don't have a plan. What happened is all these things are coming to them and they don't have a plan. They don't have a system for those. Well, have us help you. We'll help you put together the plan that you can execute very easily, makes you feel human, makes you feel good, and you're going to get a ton of referrals with the system on the back end to make sure you maximize those opportunities. So that's what we do at Referral Mastery Summit. Today, what we want to do is give you a short take, a quick hit on how to get your next referral. And a lot of times the way to get your next referral is to think about, how did I get my last referral? Because in many cases, the way you got your last referral is the way you're going to get your next referral. Here's the other thing. The person who gave you the last referral, in a lot of cases, is the next referral you're going to get. So there's a lot of benefits to these short takes, this taste of referral mastery. And today's guest is a regular almost on Referrals Podcast. We've seen his evolution over the last couple of years, where he came from nearly nothing to developing his referral system and working toward, and he then became a CRT, Certified Referral Trainer. Then he became VP of Catalyst, which is an arm of our coaching. And now he is VP of coaching for REFERCO. But here's the other thing. He's also the 2020 Generosity Generation Big Heart Award winner. So listen, he gets results, but he also gets it from a heart-centered approach, from a loving, generous, and appreciative approach. Let's welcome, without further ado, Mr. Thommy Sandvick. How about you?
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, as always, for the fantastic introduction, Michael, and just happy to be here.
I love it, and I love your backdrop. I love your virtual background that you did, especially for this episode with the RMS 21. You know, if you want to make a host happy, just make your virtual background something that's going to make them happy, right? I mean, it's like that just makes a lot of sense. I love it. I need to start thinking more that way with when I'm a guest on a podcast, don't have my stuff, have their stuff behind me. So I love that. So, all right. So tell me about your last referral, right? So your last referral, best referral, most memorable referral. In this case, all happen to be the same thing. So tell me that story, and we're going right to it. And our high D's and high I's are having fun, and the S's and C's are loving it because it's a softer way to sell, and we're going to give them the details on how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So my last referral was really twofold, right? The first was it was for someone who had just gotten started in real estate, literally was just getting her license. Wow. And, I had an ambassador. So one of my closest trusted people I spend lots of time with. And he was talking to her, helping her with her website, actually, and said,
Chad Kraft?
No, actually not Chad Kraft.
Who was it? We got to give Chad Kraft. Anytime I can give Chad Kraft a shout out, we'll give it. So it's Brian Hammock.
Always out there for us as well. Yeah, Bryant Danek was the one, and he was there in June with us. And he said, he was talking to her and he said, well, you just got your license, what's your next step? Have you chosen a brokerage? That kind of stuff. And he just knew at the core that she wanted to build on relationships. And he immediately said, you've got to talk to Thommy. And that was the, beginning of having the conversation. And it was a perfect fit because he understands me and everything about Gen so deeply that he could just immediately identify who would be a good fit.
So what's Brian's last name again? How do you spell it?
Danek, Dannic.
Okay, so it's not damn it, which is good.
No,
so damn it, Danek, I love it. So he could market the heck out of that. So what I love about this is that it sounds like you've had conversations and communication with him, and it sounds like he's more like an ambassador than just someone that's in a networking group with you or an acquaintance. Is that an accurate statement?
Yeah, absolutely. He's an ambassador. Certainly is not the first referral. Although he's about to move to Italy, so I don't know what's going to happen on that range. But he's sent multiple people, multiple different businesses I've had. What's really interesting is that the relationship is so deep with him that it doesn't matter what I do. He knows how to send the right people to me. So
he's not just sending everybody. He's not sending you leads. He's sending you what I would call like certainties. He's sending you great referrals who are going to do business with you. And as long as you don't screw it up, right? As long as I don't screw it up, I know that I'm going to do a great job and make the most of the opportunity. The trust is already established. So So Brian referred who? What was the name of the person? You can just give him the first name if that's
Julie.
Julie. Okay. So the first question I have to ask, just out of curiosity, is how did you meet Brian? I mean, because one thing that our listeners and viewers need to know is that, like, a big part of growing your referral business is going to be growing your referral network. And the way to grow your referral network is by referral. Doesn't that just make sense? And so it's one of those where it's like when we get a referral source like a Brian who's an ambassador, we need to source not just our business. We need to source our referral sources. Where are these great people coming from who believe in us and are referring us business?
Yeah, a networking event. It was an industry exclusive networking event when I first started networking in Orlando. And I believe it goes back to roughly February of 2017. Wow. That we originally met.
Wow. So you met Brian at a networking event. Who was the leader, or who made that networking event happen? Or who was the person responsible for you going to that networking event?
I got invited to that event. And I got invited because I visited a chamber event. So I went from the chamber event to the invitation to the industry exclusive kind of subgroup of the chamber. And that's where I met him. It was a crazy thing because I always find I have a sense to know. I always talk about being intentional about where you want the relationship to go. At the time that I met him, he was just starting his consulting business. And at the time, I had a company called Legal Shield in my back pocket. And I immediately saw that if he's going to help businesses, I said, hey, do you have anything to help with legal? And he said no. And so I just, one step at a time, we continued to develop that relationship. And then as the businesses have evolved, we've stayed very good friends along the way. So super cool
awesome
stuff. Yeah.
So who was the person responsible for you going to the event where you met Brian? Like, who invited you specifically? Do you remember?
Oh man. If I had to take a guess, I would have to say it is Rose Gamba. If I had to take a guess.
Yeah. Okay. So is Rose a real estate agent?
No, she's a bookkeeper.
Was the offshoot networking of, by the way, this is how business happens. What is so amazing is we always talk about the results, but what we have to really is like we have to analyze. We need to research, like, where did this business really come from? Mm-hmm. You know, so it's like Brian came from someone who we think is Rose in this case. So, and that came from a chamber event, right? And so the first thing is like, all right, we need to make sure that we're still in that chamber. We're still active in some way in that chamber, because that chamber led us to Brian at some point. And then the offshoot, what was the offshoot? Was it entrepreneurs only, small business owners only? What was that specifically for?
The offshoot was called Red Group.
Okay.
Which is Referral, Exchange, and Development, something of that nature.
Okay.
It's the core idea. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it was a smaller networking group that was based out of the chamber, right? So So here's the thing: is just so everybody here knows, this is how I grew my real estate practice in the very beginning. As I joined the Olathe Chamber and the Shawnee Chamber and chambers around the Kansas City area, because that's what you did when you got a business started, right? And it's like, well, I want to think not like an individual, not like whatever. I want to think like a business. So I went where business was conducted. Hopefully that is an awareness and an aha for many of the people listening. And you're not alone. You should not be going through this alone. And quit thinking about this as a solopreneur or a single mom doing real estate or whatever you are. You are a business. So you need to join the chamber, period. I mean, it's a very minimal cost. And then what happened for me is I got into a networking group. Interestingly enough, there were a couple other realtors in the group. That's kind of weird, right? But it ended up being fantastic because it was my intro to networking. And one of the people there suggested I get involved with the Olathe Chamber of Commerce. And this is they had 200, 300 people at every one of their events, and the rest is history. Well, same story here with Thommy. The last referral he got was because from a guy who we met at a Chamber of Commerce offshoot, but he had to go to the Chamber of Commerce event first. So I love that. I love the flow of this. And, at that time, 2017, you didn't know the 7 steps to connecting with connectors. You just went, right?
Yeah. I just understood that you have to, I knew pretty quickly referrals were the way to go. And I just knew that I wanted to build on relationships. I had gone through a lot of personal growth that helped me see that. And it just made sense. And I was just kind of in that mode. I think when you get started, especially, there's this mode of just show up to the opportunity. Like, you just say yes. Just, you get invited somewhere, say yes. Then you can figure out where you really want to focus. But you got to start by just getting out there and just do the activity. And then as you get busier and things, you start to really figure out and analyze where things are coming from. And I was just in say yes mode. You want to go to lunch? I'm going yes. Go to this event? Absolutely. Go to the chamber event? Yes. That I just lived in yes mode for quite a while. Actually.
Well, I love it because the thing to think to yourself about is, will this lead to conversations? Will this lead to contact? Will this lead to communication? Right. I mean, I'm doing the keynote for RMS, and I have several of these breakouts that I'm kind of overseeing. And also, with the keynotes, one of the first ones is get into the game. RMS is all about winning the referral game. Like second place in the referral game sucks because that means you didn't get the referral. That means you were really nice. People liked you and respected and trusted you, but you weren't referred. So the thing that I've found and discovered with all of this is if you want to win the referral game, you have to realize it is not a spectator sport. It is a contact sport. You are going to have to get into the game. And with COVID and quarantine and Zoom and everything else that's going on, you must persevere. The dichotomy between the successful and the unsuccessful, the people who are winning and the people who are losing right now, is maybe never been as separated as it is right now. Why is that? The winners are engaging however they can, not unsafely, but they're engaging. The losers are just throwing their hands up, and it's like, well, we're quarantined, we can't talk to anybody. Well, that's not true. God bless Zoom, God bless the phone. You know, we have these other methodologies that we can utilize, and I love that. So if you had to narrow this down, and I know we didn't rehearse any of this before, so this may be a tougher question, but if you had to narrow it down to the 7L strategy that was maybe most effective for you in this referral, do you have one or two that you felt like was a key to your success here?
I feel like at the core, it is actually, it's not a strategy per se, but it's holistic in nature. And it's that I always lead with, I do business with love, generosity, and appreciation. And I build my business on referrals. And I believe in developing relationships. And that constant communication, that piece, is what allows people to find the right fit to talk to me, where it's not just he's a coach, you should talk to him, or he's building an organization, you should talk to him, but it's really based around they're sending me people who I know are going to be worth the time and are going to, in some way, be a very positive relationship, one way or another. And I think that, as a direct strategy, I think it's the transfer of trust. Or the triangle of trust. It's maybe not quite as intentional as a strategy in the book, but it's there. It is I know someone, and because that trust is being transferred so strongly, I don't have to worry about, well, is she going to pick me or somebody else, along the way. It's that. And so I think it's just always making sure that the people that you're closest to really get who you are at the core and the values that you hold, and they will refer people who share those same values. And that's what's been incredibly successful, both for me and for the people that I've been teaching it to. We have been teaching it to, has worked really, really well. So that's a takeaway I would hope people have.
Yeah, you're principle and value centered, right? And that's I think that's at the core of everything. Is that our core values are love, generosity, and appreciation, and our core principles are give first, give thanks, and give back, which we'll be talking about in other episodes of these Taste of Referral Mastery. Is there, but okay, so people are listening to this and they're like, okay, but how? Right? I mean, I get it. I'm a loving person. I'm somewhat generous. I think I'm probably more generous than I really am, and I think I'm probably people know I'm more, or I think people know that I'm more appreciative than really they actually know, right? I am appreciative, and doggone it, they know it. But the truth is they probably don't know it as well as they should. So, how did you exhibit that, or how did that manifest itself? That these values, love, generosity, and appreciation, were part of you with Brian. Like, how did that relationship grow to the point where he's become such a huge ambassador for you?
Well, I think I started in the system. I wrote power notes. I wrote handwritten notes. Actually, the true story is I couldn't afford the stamps. My bank account was overdrawn. So I did the guaranteed response email and just started talking to people and offering to help. And that's really where it started. And then from there, it was just a matter. I think the biggest thing is people got to learn to pay attention to the people who are being equally appreciative and generous. That's been one of the biggest learnings. I know that's not such a brass tack, start with the power note, start with the handwritten note, start with the call to say thank you, and offer to help. Getting started in this system is not complicated. Pick up the phone and call to help.
All right, you're going into coach mode. I've got to interrupt you there only because I love where it's going. However, I want to stay with Brian. Right?
Okay.
Right. So did you write Brian a power note?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And then all right. And then did he get a guaranteed response email from you?
Back when I first started, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So and explain the guaranteed response email for everyone who maybe isn't familiar with 7L.
Yeah, it's basically an email that says, hey, I've got a couple questions for you. It's not urgent, but it is important and timely. Please give me a call back when you have a moment. I promise I'll only take a moment or two of your time. That's the high level of it. It's just sending an email out. The subject line is, their name. I have a couple questions for you. And it just piques the curiosity and gets them to call you, which is so powerful because if you're afraid of the phone, they're now calling you.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier to answer the phone or to return their call than it is to sometimes to do the outbound call until we build that confidence.
Isn't it funny how much fear we have around picking up the phone to call, and yet how much we will do to answer the phone when somebody else calls? Isn't that an interesting counterintuitive thought?
Yeah.
Somebody's calling you, you will literally run through your kid. You will stumble up or down the stairs. You will run, you will break things to get your phone, to answer it.
Yeah.
And yet you won't do anything, or most people won't do anything to pick up the phone and call someone. What if you knew on the other end they were going to run through their kid, run upstairs, do everything it took to answer your phone call, you know? So it's all about values. It really is. It boils down to that. And so what advice do you have for someone who's wanting to develop ambassadors like Brian and get referrals like Julie? What one piece of advice would you give them?
Focus on it's quantity over quality. Focus on the people who want. Yeah. What did I say?
Quality over quantity. Yeah, you said quantity. It's all good.
Reversed it in my mind.
I have to tell you, it's such a good thing to say when it comes out right. You know what I mean? It's like quality over quantity. But it's so easy to say quantity over quality because that's what we've been told for 30, 50, 60, 100 years.
Still rooting it out of the subconscious, right?
Total. That's exactly right.
It really is quality over quantity, and focus in on the people who want to be in relationship with you. Focus there, put more energy there. And these relationships that develop, Bryant, and I have to give a shout out to Pete as well, and Chad Kraft, that all came from focusing on the people that really were that really wanted to be communicated with along the way. And that's like what Sherry McGuire is figuring this out right now. One of our awesome clients, she is like, I'm done with the 1,500 person database. I'm zoning it in. Who wants to be in communication? I'm putting all my energy into those people because those are the people that are going to refer you anyway.
That's right.
And that's the biggest thing.
Drop the mic, right? I mean, that's the thing. Quality over quantity is maybe the biggest lesson out of here. And I love that it's your final words of wisdom, because that is what this is all about, is that we go to a networking, people ask, well, how many people are going to be there? That's the wrong question. Mm-hmm. The question is, out of all the people that are going to be there, who's the most influential? Who's a business owner like me supposed to meet at a meeting like this? And then, that offshoot group, there might have only been 20 there, but 2 of them are ambassadors for you. And 1 of them led to your most recent referral. So I think the biggest thing that keeps going back to the winning the referral game is where you can win with love, generosity, and appreciation. You can win with strategy. And it's so funny as you're like, well, I wrote him a power note, like almost as if you forgot it. what I love about the strategies of 7L is a lot of times you start implementing them and you don't even look at them as strategies anymore, because they just become who you are and who a good person is, and you know, who a great business owner is. So I love that, and I love this story. And Thommy, you rocked it again. And I'm telling you, for those of you that love what you heard today, go back and listen to Tommy's other Referrals podcast episodes. Tommy's, do you have those numbers by any chance?
Yes, 56, 95, and 155.
There you go. You can actually listen to his evolution as a business owner. That's what I love about Referrals podcasts. You know, we're about real stories, real referrals, real people, you know, and his story is truly a success story. And I hope everybody here loved this, a taste of referral mastery. If you're interested in more strategies, you're going to get hundreds of strategies on how to get referrals and how to be a better person and how to grow your business by love, generosity, and appreciation at RMS 21. You can now get $400 off. Yes, I saved that for the very end. If you go to rms21.com and use the code word podcast, 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 and you can attend for $400 off. Go check it out at rms21.com. Thommy, thank you so much for being our guest today on this short take on A Taste of Referral Mastery.
Love it. Thank you so much for having me, as always.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you tomorrow on A Taste of Referral Mastery. That's right. It's a daily dose of positivity and productivity that we're giving to you every single day leading up to what is the ultimate referral event in the world, Referral Mastery Summit 2021, rms21.com. Use the code podcast. We'll see you tomorrow.